The aircraft carrier is on its way. The waves crash against its steel hull as it moves steadily through the vast, open sea. A mission has been set, a purpose is in motion, and soon the call will reach you. Are you ready? Have you prepared yourself for what is coming? This is not just a battle of the flesh, but of the soul. The time for hesitation has passed, the moment to awaken is now. You, who have felt the weight of unseen forces pressing upon your heart, who have long walked through the corridors of your own solitude, knowing that something greater awaits beyond the horizon, you are the chosen one. Not by accident, not by mere chance, but by the design of something far beyond human comprehension. You were meant to hear these words. They are not random echoes in the wind, but a message calling out to you from the depths of existence itself. Can you feel it? The silent tremors in your soul, the whispering voice within that tells you to rise. You have walked long enough in the fog of uncertainty. The time for retreat is over. The aircraft carrier is not merely a machine of war, but a symbol of arrival, of confrontation, of revelation. It brings with it both destruction and renewal, and you must decide which side of its arrival you will stand upon. But first, look inward. Are you ready to heal? The question is not whether you are wounded, for all souls bear their scars. The real question is whether you will allow those wounds to fester, to define you, or whether you will finally cleanse them, transform them into marks of wisdom rather than chains of suffering. Healing is not for the weak. It requires the strength to face the darkness within, to confront the shadows that have long lingered in the corners of your mind. It demands honesty, the courage to admit where you have faltered, where you have allowed fear to dictate your steps. But it also requires faith, the belief that beyond the pain, there is something more. Something worth fighting for. The aircraft carrier is not merely approaching the shores of the world, it is approaching the shores of your very being. It carries with it a reckoning, a choice. You must decide whether to step forward, to meet it with resolve, or to remain where you are, stagnant, unchanging. This is not a time for hesitation. The tides of existence do not wait. Either you rise with the waves, or you are swallowed by them. This is the reality of the path you walk. You were never meant for the ordinary, for a life of complacency and passive existence. The fire within you has always burned brighter than most, even in the moments when you doubted its presence. Now is the time to ignite it once more. Prepare yourself. The world will not understand. The noise of the unawakened will try to pull you back into sleep. But you must remain steadfast. Those who fear the journey will tell you that you are lost, that you are chasing illusions. Do not listen. The path of the chosen is never lined with approval, but with trials that test the very essence of one's being. Look around you. Everything is shifting. The very fabric of reality seems to be unraveling and reforming at once. The old structures, the false securities, the illusions that once held firm are crumbling. You feel it, don't you? The restlessness in the air, the silent urging within that tells you to move, to act, to prepare. The aircraft carrier does not come for the unready. It comes for those who have sensed the call long before the waves began to stir. It comes for those who understand that to remain the same is to perish, that growth is the only true way forward. It does not promise ease, nor does it offer comfort. It offers something far greater, the chance to become who you were always meant to be. But are you willing to pay the price? To let go of what you once clung to so desperately? To release the fears, the doubts, the wounds that have kept you bound? Healing is not a gentle process. It is a fire that burns away the false, leaving only the true. It is a storm that breaks apart the old, so that something new may rise in its place. You have felt the storm coming. You have sensed the distant hum of engines growing closer. This is not imagination, not mere fantasy, it is the unfolding of destiny itself. The chosen do not choose their path, it is placed before them. But they must decide whether to walk it. The aircraft carrier is on its way. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not in some distant future, but now. Look into the mirror of your soul and ask yourself, am I ready? And if you are not, then what will you do to change that? Will you wait, hoping for another sign, another moment, another chance? Or will you act, will you rise, will you claim what has always been meant for you? This is not about external battles, though they may come. This is about the war within. The war that has raged in the depths of your heart for as long as you can remember. The war between the self you have known and the self you were meant to become. Let the waves crash. Let the storm rage. Let the aircraft carrier arrive. You are ready. You have always been ready. The only thing left to do is step forward. The aircraft carrier draws closer. The sound of its engines hums in the distance, vibrating through the very fabric of existence. It is no longer a distant reality but an imminent force, demanding your attention, calling you to rise. The question remains, will you answer? You cannot run from this moment. You cannot hide from what has already begun within you. The changes, the awakening, the relentless pull towards something greater it has been building for far too long. You have felt it in the quiet hours, in the spaces between thoughts, in the restless energy that refuses to let you stay the same. This is not just a call to action but a call to transformation. It is not about external battles alone but the deep, internal revolution that must take place within you first. Before you can step onto that deck, before you can take your place among the awakened, you must confront the final remnants of the old self, the fears, the doubts, the illusions that still cling to you like ghosts from a past life. There is no more time to delay. You know this. You have always known this. The signs have been clear: the shifting energy around you, the unraveling of things you once thought were stable, the sudden departures, the unexpected disruptions. These are not accidents. They are the universe stripping away everything that no longer serves you, preparing you for what comes next. The aircraft carrier does not come for those who wish to remain asleep. It does not slow down for those who hesitate at the edge of transformation. It comes for those who are willing to break, to be remade, to step into the unknown with unwavering faith. But faith alone is not enough. You must act. You must move beyond the realm of thought and into the realm of becoming. The battle is not won in the mind alone. It is won in the choices you make, in the steps you take toward healing, in the fire you are willing to walk through to claim the life that has been waiting for you. Have you noticed how the world has begun to change? The structures of the past, the false securities, the illusions that once held firm, they are crumbling. What once seemed permanent is now revealed as temporary, as fragile as dust in the wind. This is not a cause for fear but a confirmation that you were right to feel what you felt, that something greater was always on the horizon, waiting for those with the eyes to see and the hearts to receive. You are one of the few. The ones who have felt the shift long before it became visible. The ones who have carried the weight of knowing, even when the world around you remained blind. This is your time. This is your moment. You cannot afford to falter now. The aircraft carrier looms closer, its presence undeniable, its purpose clear. It comes as both a challenge and an invitation. It does not offer comfort, nor does it promise ease. It offers something far greater: the chance to step into your destiny, to become the version of yourself that has always been waiting beneath the layers of fear and conditioning. But will you take that step? Will you let go of what has held you back? Will you release the wounds that have kept you bound to an outdated version of yourself? Healing is not a passive process. It is a choice, made over and over again, to confront what is uncomfortable, to face what is painful, to embrace the unknown with the certainty that something greater lies beyond it. You have already come so far. You have endured storms that would have broken others. You have walked through fire and emerged with the scars to prove it. These scars are not weaknesses, they are evidence of your strength. They are proof that you have already survived what once seemed impossible. And now, another test awaits. Another threshold stands before you. The aircraft carrier is no longer just approaching, it is here. The moment of decision has arrived. There will be no more waiting. No more postponing your transformation. The time is now. Step forward. Let go of the doubts that whisper you are not ready. You are. Release the fear that tells you to wait for a better moment. There is none. Breathe in the truth that has always been within you. You were made for this. The world will not understand. The noise of the unawakened will try to drown out the call. But you must listen to the voice within, the voice that has never wavered, never lied, never abandoned you. It is the only guide you need. Look ahead. The path is set. The aircraft carrier is waiting. Now, step forward. Step into the unknown. Step into your destiny. The aircraft carrier has arrived. The air is thick with anticipation, charged with the weight of a moment that has been building for far longer than you realize. You stand at the threshold of something vast, something irreversible. There is no turning back now. The only path is forward. Can you feel it? The shift beneath your feet, the silent pull urging you to step into what has always been waiting for you. The hesitation in your chest is not fear, it is the last remnant of the old self, clinging to the illusion of safety, whispering that change is too great, that transformation is too costly. But you know the truth. You have always known the truth. You were never meant to remain as you were. The calling upon your soul was never one of comfort, but of purpose. And purpose demands something from you. It requires the sacrifice of everything that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. The aircraft carrier looms before you, massive and undeniable. It is a force, a presence, a symbol of the arrival of everything you have been sensing in the quiet moments, in the restless nights, in the deep knowing that has never left you. This is not just a vessel, it is a portal, a threshold, a test. Are you ready to step aboard? You must understand, this is not a journey for the faint-hearted. The world you leave behind will not recognize the version of you that returns. The people who once knew you may no longer understand you. The structures you once leaned on may no longer support you. The old world will pull at you, whispering that it was enough, that there is no need to go further. But you know better. The path of the chosen is not one of stagnation. It is one of perpetual becoming. And becoming requires the willingness to let go, to surrender what no longer serves, to release what no longer fits, to embrace the discomfort of shedding an old skin and stepping into something new. The process will not be easy. There will be moments of doubt. There will be storms that test the very foundations of your soul. But you have faced storms before. And you are still standing. Look at your scars. Each one is proof that you have already survived what once seemed unbearable. Each mark upon your soul is evidence that you have already walked through fire and emerged stronger. This moment is no different. It is simply another initiation, another passage through the fire. You do not need all the answers. You do not need to see every step ahead. You only need the courage to take the next one. Step forward. The aircraft carrier does not wait. The mission is already underway. This is not just about you. It never was. You are part of something greater, something vast and intricate, a movement that has been set into motion far beyond the limits of your understanding. Your role is not to control it, not to resist it, but to surrender to it, to allow yourself to be shaped by the current, to trust that where it leads is exactly where you are meant to be. But first, you must make a choice. A choice to leave behind everything that is holding you back. A choice to trust the unknown. A choice to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. This is not a passive transformation. It is an active, intentional, relentless pursuit of the highest version of yourself. It requires discipline. It requires faith. It requires the willingness to face your deepest wounds, not with fear, but with the certainty that healing is possible, that redemption is real, that you are not defined by what has happened to you, but by what you choose to become. The world around you is changing. Can you feel it? The structures are collapsing. The illusions are shattering. What once seemed unshakable is revealing itself as fragile. This is not a time for hesitation. The aircraft carrier has come for those who are ready to rise. Are you ready? Step forward. This is your moment. This is your calling. This is your destiny.